Hi, everyone. Today we are going to talk about building a business for this decade. It's all about who owns the data. My name is Francois Gouelo. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Enzo Connect, a guest experience platform for the hospitality industry. I do not have 35 years experience in the hospitality industry. I am not 35 years old. But my background is University of Toronto. I did a degree in computer science, specifically computational linguistics. I wrote my thesis at the University of Cambridge on the conversion of hospitality technology. Today we work with about 18,000 properties in 45 countries and growing. What we're going to talk about is the importance of guest data, specifically capturing, centralizing, and monetizing that information. And before I dive into what that data is, what we need to collect, how do we collect it, how do we streamline the guest experience, we're going to start off with a little story of Yelp versus Google. Yelp was built in 2004. In 2005, they partnered with Google. Yelp is a review aggregator. So when you look up a place, I don't know, a shop, a restaurant, best restaurants in Miami, you'll get these reviews on Yelp that tell you 4 stars, 5 stars, with all these different people that have stayed or seen these different restaurants. But what's really interesting is the partnership that they ran with Google in 2005 meant that Google would allow them to see all the different places that Google Places had so that they could put their reviews on it. So you would look up a restaurant, best restaurant in Miami, you would go on Google and you would see Yelp review 4 stars. In 2014, Google decided to launch Google Reviews. And this is pretty much what happened to Yelp reviews. We see Google in 2014, and I don't have the exact numbers for it, other than in 2021, you get 170 million people visiting Yelp every single month and 1.84 billion people visiting Google every single day. I don't know about Yelp reviews, but it's not very significant these days. From what I understand, apparently in California, they still use Yelp, but I've not been on Yelp for quite some time. To put it in different perspective, 88% of reviews are distributed across 4 platforms. Yelp is in second place with 6% of those reviews. Google has 73% of those reviews. The point I'm trying to make is this. And the reason behind that is, well, why did it happen? The Yelp model was simple. It was people would go on Google, they would figure out what restaurants do I want to go to, and then they would go on Yelp and they would figure out what restaurants had the best reviews. And Google's model was, they're just going to go on Google and stay on Google. Similarly, if you put that parallel with the whole book direct show and the OTAs, well, we talk about the book direct model being the customer is going to go on the OTA, they're going to book once, and then I'm going to get them again, and they're going to book again with me. The OTA is just saying, you know what? They're going to book on my OTA, they're going to stay on my OTA, they're going to be on my OTA. In fact, they're going to book an Airbnb. They're not going to book a book direct. They don't know about your company name. The reason behind this is because there is a data dependency. Once Google had the initial review data, they had the ability to jumpstart Google reviews. Yelp depended on Google to find those places. In fact, 64% of Yelp users search for Yelp on Google. It's a bit ironic there. And then the best part of it is Google has so much more data about you as a person that when you look up a business and then you go to that business, they'll prompt you on Google Maps, do you want to leave a review? So they effectively control the entire experience from start to finish. Yelp was not able to combat that. Now, what I want to get to is what is that data dependency in your business and how can you actually revert the game in the OTA game, if you will. So let's look at what you guys depend on. Well, you depend on guests. OTAs depend on those same guests. But let's not forget, they also depend on you. And so the easy way to visualize this is, okay, OTAs depend on guests, you depend on guests, OTAs depend on you. But the OTAs, they don't see it that way. They see it more like this. And the reason behind that is because of the actual data that they're filtering through to you. They start off with all this information that the guest has, the budget, where they want to stay, how long they want to stay, their nationality, how tall they are maybe, any information that they have that they're collecting through their different processes. And then they grab that information and they give you just what you need to deliver the experience. So we could say that the guest is effectively at the center of this entire data dependency. What's funny about this, not just this conference, but in general about the hospitality industry, is when we talk about the guest experience, when we talk about that, we really look at it as, oh, it starts at the check-in process. The guest experience is when the guest checks in, that's when I have control of the experience and I'm going to make it great. But actually, the guest experience doesn't start at check-in, it starts at the search. And right now, obviously, OTAs control that search. But I want to make a parallel with, and this goes back to what Evan was saying yesterday, really amazing guy, I have to say, around the sales funnel. So this is my sales funnel when I'm selling my software to you guys. We get marketing qualified leads, MQLs, and then we move them to qualification. So we see, is this the right fit? Are we going to have a great partnership here? Then we do a little demo and we make sure this is the right fit. We send you a proposal. Hopefully you don't negotiate too much. And then we either win you, we lose you, or we nurture you for the next time. And you could make an exact parallel of the guest experience as a sales funnel in your business. Effectively, the guest searches, that is your MQL, marketing qualified lead. The qualification is the inquiry. You're making sure this is the right guest. Is this a group of bachelor crazy heads that are staying in your family vacation home chalet, or is this the right fit for your business? The demo is effectively the booking confirmation. Now, this is debatable, but the reason behind this is I want you to get to the point where you have only won your guests if they're staying again with you, if they're repeat guests. Now, the problem with this, OTAs, they own your top of funnel and your bottom funnel. In fact, 69% of repeat guests, of guests on Airbnb are repeat guests. It's a bit crazy when you think about it, and the reason behind that, if you look at it visually again with this whole funnel, it really looks like this, and the reason behind this is because they deliver a streamlined experience. It is so easy to book a property on Airbnb, on VRBO, on Expedia, on Booking.com that you don't remember who you booked with. You just remember the OTA. They deliver that experience on the payments. They deliver that experience, as Evan had mentioned, kind of like an e-commerce format where it's 2 clicks away and I just book a property. Your direct booking websites are 12 clicks away before I can figure out which property I want to stay at. You can't compete on the inventory size. You can't compete on the brand equity. In fact, you can't even compete on the marketing power. If you look at Sonder, which is a really interesting company as well from Canada, from Montreal though, we're based out of Toronto, and they've raised over $867 million. I mean, it's just insane. And they're not everyone in this room might even know what Sonder is. Airbnb, VRBO, Expedia, they have all these resources to put towards these 3 verticals, and you don't. But there's one thing that you can actually compete on, and that is the guest experience. So my goal with this session today is to actually get you to shift from this type of sales funnel, where the OTAs own your top of funnel and your bottom of funnel, to start off with something simple where you can at least control everything after the qualification process. You want OTAs, you do want direct bookings, it's a mix of the two, but you want to control everything that comes after that. How do you make this happen? Well, the quick, short answer is a seamless guest experience and collecting a bunch of data. But since it's after lunchtime, I actually have a little exercise, and it's going to be about what information we're collecting on our guests. So if everyone wants to stand up. I know it's the worst time to stand up after lunch. You're probably thinking, I just want to sit down. I just want to listen to this, but thank you so much. And what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to sit down if you are not collecting this information. Stay up if you know the emails of your guests. Okay, so we have a few people that stood down, but everyone's staying up. That's good. Stand down if you don't know if they've booked with you before. Okay, tough crowd, tough crowd. You know why they're staying. Does everyone know why they're staying, why their guests are staying? Okay. Now we're starting to see a few people sit down. I don't know if it's because lunch and you're tired and you're just trying to find an excuse to sit down, or if you're actually not collecting this data, it's okay. What about their demographic? Do you know their age, their nationality, their gender? Not a lot of people left standing up, although I'm very happy to see a few faces standing up. What about their phone number? And everyone's collecting their phone number? Okay, I should have probably put that beforehand then. How about how many times they visited your website? So we don't have a lot of people that are standing up. This is just some of the data that you need to compete with OTAs. There's so much more information that you can collect through different tools, but the real reason I'm showing you guys this is because of how you can actually personalize the guest experience with the data that you collect. See, if you're a remote worker, and I know that you're a remote worker, and I know you're in your 20s or 30s, I know you need an extra monitor. You're not gonna do something on that 13-inch screen. So why not offer that extra monitor? If I know you're a family staying for a family trip, why not give that promo code to the local theme park? In fact, Casago had a great example of different types of streamlined and personalized experiences that they're generating with the data that they're collecting. If it's a beach vacation, provide extra towels, and you know what, maybe a mid-stay cleaning, because that sandy bathroom is gonna be really annoying for the rest of the trip. But the next question isn't just about what information you're collecting. See, we have all these tools, we have all these vendors with different tech stacks. The question is, how are you making it so easy for them to actually share this information with them? Are you sending them a guidebook link, and then a verification link, and then an insurance link, and a payment link, and a downloadable app, and a check-in registration, and you're like, smart lock code right here? It is so complicated. As a guest, I don't care. I just want to check in. I don't care about all this stuff. I don't care about your safety, your insurance, your regulations, your whatever it is. I just want to have a good time. Effectively streamlining the guest experience is at the key of all of this. And the best slide I have for this is these two companies specifically, which is Casa and Selena. Selena is a hostel. They actually have one across the street. They're going public very soon, and the experience was phenomenal. I stayed at one in Colombia, and it was just easy. I mean, the check-in process, the insurance, everything, the buy experiences. I could get in a yoga class with people directly from their web app. Casa similarly created such a streamlined experience that if you look at their reviews, they're talking more about staying at a Casa. They're staying at a Selena. They're not staying at an Airbnb, and yet they booked it on Airbnb, which is kind of funny. Now, of course, you're shifting that information because now people remember your brand. So the point that I'm trying to make is, are you centralizing this information internally for your team to make it easy for everyone to deal with? And are you creating a centralized experience for your guests so that they remember you as the host, as the operator, as the hospitality manager? And I had to make a few changes to my slides last night because I really wanted to quote Matt on quality branded management. That's exactly what it is. It is branded, it is unified, and it is completely seamless. But now that you have all of this data, you have all these tools that are collecting all of this information, their age, you know exactly who your guests are. What do you do with this data? Well, the first thing you want to do is you actually want to close the loop once you have a guest staying with you. So the question is, how do you currently close the loop? And what's funny is I've heard a lot of people tell me, Francois, I really need to drive up my Airbnb review strategy. Are you always chasing after the review strategy? Are you always closing that sales funnel on the OTAs, or are you diversifying your reviews across the different channels so that when I Google your business, I find your business, not Airbnb? And my favorite one of all is the CRM stuff. What tools are you using to retarget your customers? See, I have a CRM, Francois. I don't need your tool. I use MailChimp. MailChimp is not a CRM. That's the first thing I want to say. In fact, I don't actually fully believe in the power of MailChimp, quite frankly, because I think we're saturated with emails. I don't know about you guys, but you probably get dozens of emails from companies like mine trying to sell you things. You're probably tired of it. But what if I sent you a text message? You get a little blue notification in your phone, and it's really annoying, and you're going to open it. You are going to open it because the open rate on SMS is just under 85%, whereas the open rate on emails is just under 10%. Part of the reason why you want to collect that phone is you want to adapt to this new decade, which is everything's on your phone. Not everyone checks their emails. You want to be quick to those users. You want to personalize everything, and you want to adapt your communication with the tools people actually want to use. We've kind of gotten your sales funnel from this, but before I dive into the next phase of your sales funnel, I want to go back to that Yelp story. And specifically, I want to make a parallel on all the things that Yelp did wrong and what OTAs are doing that you might be doing wrong in your business. Yelp got crushed because it had a massive data dependency on Google. Well, when I said that Google had the initial review data, they had an ability to jumpstart Google reviews. It's the same thing with OTAs in your business. OTAs jump-started their business with your inventory. When Yelp depends on Google Places to find the businesses that need reviews, you depend on OTAs to find guests. When I say 64% of Yelp viewers search for Yelp on Google, I assure you, your guests don't look for you, they just go on their preferred OTA. And finally, all this data that Airbnb has, the fact that they have that little mobile app on your phone, that they're collecting all this information again and again, means they can keep putting the feedback loop directly on their OTA, not your business. My point here is three things. Collect valuable data, but while you're collecting that valuable data, make it so streamlined that it's easy. The guest doesn't even know they're sharing that data with you. Although, if you're based out of Europe, make sure to be GDPR compliant because that is rising right now. And close the feedback loop for you, not the OTAs. That's your mid-funnel to bottom funnel. But why is collecting all this information so important? I mean, obviously, yeah, you get more direct bookings, you know exactly who your guests are. There's one beast that I want you guys to be aware of that is creeping in the industry that we're not really hearing too much of right now, but that we will in the next couple of years. And that is Google. Google is closing in on OTAs. In fact, Airbnb refused 2-3 years ago to put their properties on Google because they knew that people would then get accustomed to booking a Google property, not an Airbnb. They shifted their entire marketing budget from putting ad spend on Airbnb in X location to book an Airbnb, book an experience, coining the term so much that my friends don't even know what was before an Airbnb. What existed before Airbnb? There was nothing. And then I have to tell them, did you know 1992 VRBO? What's VRBO? I think I saw an ad on YouTube recently. That's pretty much it. But what's interesting about Google is they're not actually closing in on OTAs, they're actually closing in on you. They want you to maintain that brand. And the reason behind it is they want to control the entire inventory. Take advantage of that shift that is happening in this decade. You've got a bunch of searches daily on Google. They're allowing you to put your company brand logos, your direct booking websites. In fact, they're not even taking any commission when you put on Google Vacation Rentals. I don't work for Google, by the way, just putting that out there. I'm just saying it helps you build that strategy to be on Google. And you know what? There's already amazing PMSs, channel managers, and other systems out there that already connect to those different OTAs, including Google. The real reason behind this, I'm sure Google is going to do a little 180 as well in a decade and just say, hey, now you got to start paying to actually be on vacation rentals. But if you didn't start now, you are going to be left behind. You are going to be so left behind that it's going to cost you so much money to be at the top of those Google searches. We've gotten your sales funnel from this, where OTAs own your top of funnel, your bottom funnel. We've kind of discussed this streamlined experience, which we're still trying to figure out the branded aspect of that streamlined experience, the valuable guest data that we want to collect to allow you to control everything that comes after the sales qualified lead. But now it's time to get your brand to shine. And for this, what I want to say is people are searching for vacation rentals more and more. I mean, this is the hot topic of 2021, 2022. We're not hearing so much about hotels. In fact, I was at a conference in Paris 2-3 days ago for hotels, and I got to say, it was very different from vacation rentals. It was much more traditional than this crowd over here. But what I really want to get to when I say people are searching for vacation rentals is they're not searching, they are Googling for vacation rentals. And because of that, if you look up vacation rental Park City, the first four, and I think it was one of the channel managers, SiteMinder, that mentioned this example as well, so I kind of felt like I had to change this slide, but I figured I'd keep it still. The first four are ads, and the average click-through rate for those ads is about 2.1%. So if you think back of that sales funnel, the MQL, the marketing qualified lead, you got a 2.1% chance that someone's going to click on that link. But what's really funny is the next three organic searches, well, the first two, property managers. The next one, Verbo. That is a 39.6% click-through rate for that organic search, the first organic search, and 18.4. It's debatable based on different industries, based on different searches. But my point is you can actually control the entire experience if you create a streamlined guest experience, something that is unified, that showcases your brand, that shows that you are unique, something that allows you to collect that segmented guest data throughout that experience, that builds on the trusted brand, that shows that you're professional, and of course that increases that visibility where if I'm not sure and I Google your business, the first thing I see on Google is all of those different reviews, all of those different information about your business. In my opinion, this is the book direct strategy for this decade. The last bit that we have is we ran this little analysis on different types of data points and what people were collecting, and we're running a little analysis on the average for PMCs. Just like the previous presentation, we are collecting emails on this. You can opt out. We would be technically sending you marketing campaigns automatically. I'm pretty sure you'll automatically get enrolled in some sequences. So do unenroll yourself if you don't want to get any sales tactics. But what we'll do here is we're going to look at all the different information you collect. So a lot of you stood up when I said emails. A lot of you stood up when I said phone number. But a lot of you sat down when I said, what was it, age, nationality, things like that. And yet I'm pretty sure some of you are collecting IDs. So you do have that information. It's just about exposing it and tying it together to create that streamlined experience and use that guest data. So if you want to scan that QR code and get a little report on what you can do better for your guest data, feel free to do so. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the session.